Good morning. I finished my sweater this morning, and I need to weave in the ends, so I want to have a chat while I weave in my ends because it makes it go quicker every time. And I want to talk about the thing that I've learnt this week about myself. I am chronically scared that my interests are going to leave me, because in the past that's what they've done. When you have ADHD, your interests, your hyperfixations inevitably leave after a certain point, seemingly against your will, and it's like kind of devastating, and you have to like grieve this like hobby or interest that kind of became like part of your identity, and it seems like your brain just abandons it on its own will against your will. And it's really like it's just shit. And since I have started ADHD meds, I know it's not for everyone, so this is my personal experience with treating my ADHD. Since I've been on my medication, I have kept interest for way longer than I normally would. This whole thing being one of them. The fact that I still have this going on in a really serious way in my life after over a year now is completely because I have medication. Because I'm able to sustain interest long enough. It's not even that, is it? I'm like able to, think beyond just right now with it, and I'm creating goals within it and things that I want to keep pushing forward with, which without medication, like, I really struggled to do, like seeing ahead. And what I wanted to do with anything I enjoyed, it was like I can't see how this looks in my future life, because I don't think about the fact that I have like a future life, that there's time that I'm going to spend other than right now, which is kind of like the whole now not now thing that ADHD is built off, really. And so now in my life I have this like situation where my interests don't get abandoned after a few weeks or a few months, but they are actually staying, and they're progressing, and becoming a really big part of my life more consistently. And that's something that is really new to me still, and I'm still figuring out is something I can rely on, because I found that I don't think my brain like quite trusts it yet. Like, I can't really trust that it isn't going anywhere against my will, and that one day it's just gonna leave, which is why I freak out if one day I don't feel like knitting. I'm like, great, it's happened again, it's gone, it's out of my life, I'm not a knitter anymore, I guess I should say goodbye to dordy. And then the next day, after having a break, I come back and I knit something I'm really proud of, and go into an intense hyperfocus, and I'm feeling highly stimulated. And so it always comes back these days, and I'm still learning that it's always going to come back. But it's like I do have to consciously learn that, because my pattern for 24 years, been on meds for like a year now, has been, don't get attached to anything because it will leave. Or you get attached because it's your identity and your entire life, fill in the blank of the type of interest or hobby it is, and you will have to grieve this. And that's really confusing and shit. but you accept, like, that's just how I work, that's how it's going to happen. But I don't think that's the way anymore for me, at least now I'm on medication. And so it brings me to the revelation that I had this week, where I find myself, like, preparing myself for the grief, and so avoiding things so that I don't have to go through that process, even though it's, like, most likely not coming anymore. And the most recent example is I've started swimming for exercise, for a hobby, for something to do that's, like, it's just an hour of space that, you know what you do exercise for, clears your mind, blah, blah, blah. And so I go swimming, what was, like, every day, like every weekday, and found myself becoming really bored with it, just, like, you know, lap swimming, going swimming laps, and just, like, I'm in this zone where I'm forcing myself to go swimming in the morning. I don't want to be here, because it's becoming a little bit samey. It's becoming predictable. It's the same shit that I can expect when I came yesterday. The progression part of it, like, ADHD relies on progression, like, in an activity, and because I know this about myself, I consciously, like, was telling everyone, like, oh, I'm like really tentative about making swimming too serious, so I'm just, like, keeping it chill, like, I'm just keeping it as a chill thing in my life, because I don't want it to get too serious, because the minute it gets too serious, I'll stop. And it's like I've been actively avoiding taking it too seriously, like, i.e. timing my laps, counting my laps, fucking working on technique, training, essentially, like, swim training, because I was like, the minute that starts, like, I start getting into that mindset, I'll be like, that's it, I'm an Olympic swimmer now, this is so serious, and I'll burn out, which is something to be worried about for myself, is, like, burning out in an activity from going too hard, but I've been doing it for 3 months now, and that's, like, a really long time for an ADHD person to still be doing a hobby, like, something that's, well, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's a long time for me to be doing a hobby without it, like, leaving yet, and without me giving up on it, because I haven't given up on it, even though it's become boring and predictable. And so I was talking to my partner about this, and telling him, and, like, kind of proudly telling him how I've been avoiding taking it too seriously, like, that's, like, this crazy step that I've taken, but I think it's actually been, like, affecting it in a negative way, because I'm working against how I naturally work. Like, I need things to be really serious, and I need things to have, like, challenge and goals and deadlines and, you know, things to work for and things to see progression. And the minute I've taken that away as a possibility, swimming has become really boring, because it's like I'm just watching the clock obsessively, because I'm like, when is this half an hour going to be done of just swimming back and forth, doing the same stuff every day? And it was like, you know, Caleb had to tell me, like, what are you, like, so scared of by taking it seriously? And I've kind of figured out that, like, in the same way that when I don't do knitting for a day, I freak out. It's like I'm scared that if I get too attached, it's going to leave without me asking it to, or being ready for it to leave, and then I have to be disappointed and go through the whole thing again. But, like, these days, I don't think that's, like, going to happen, because I have something helping me, like, commit to things and be able to, you know, handle tasks and handle goal setting and thinking ahead, which I can't do without meds. And so this morning I went swimming, and I was like, I'm gonna take this a bit seriously today and, like, push myself and focus on like stroke technique and focus on making this a thing that I'm like really practicing and working on. And I've got like a whole list of things that I kind of want to like start incorporating in my sessions, because I need it to be that. I can't just have the same thing happening every day. I need novelty, I need newness. I need to know that like in 5 minutes I'm going to be doing something else in the pool, because right now it's just been like, in 5 minutes I'm still going to be doing this, in 10 minutes I'm still going to be doing this, and I have to be doing this for half an hour and then I can stop. And it's like, that is not enough. And I've been kind of like actively getting in the way of my own brain's needs. Like, I need it to be stimulating and new and challenging, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as I don't burn out and take it so seriously to the point that I burn out and then stop going, as long as I check in and be really grounded in that, I really don't think it's a bad thing for me to be doing what my brain like actually kind of needs. Otherwise I'll stop because I don't want to go. And to bring this back to knitting and being neurodivergent, this is why freehand has completely changed my life. Patterns, I know what I'm going to be working towards the entire time. And it's like, my brain can't handle that. I can't handle sitting in something being like, well, I know where this is going. Freehand just absolves you of all of that. It's just like every second is like, I don't know what's gonna happen. What should I do now? What should I do now? What should I do now? It's like, that's what I need. I need things to be different every 2 minutes. I need things to be different. And it's like, that has to be okay. And me doing anything else is like getting in the way of myself and not doing myself any favors and making things harder and making things less enjoyable. And so it's like, I'm here to announce that I'm an Olympic swimmer. I am going to the Olympics. No. But I am going to treat my swimming a little more regimented, because just swimming back and forth in a 50-meter pool is boring as batshit. And that's fine. You have to do things that you need. Some people like that. I do not. It's really interesting how much I am still learning about all of this. I've gone my whole life trying to fit in a different kind of area, a different kind of box, and it's like, I've realized that that's not my box, and so it's like, I'm trying to fit in my new box, and I still can't really recognize the things that my new box needs me to be doing that I'm not. And so what I was experiencing was like hardcore understimulation, and I thought that I was just like not trying hard enough in my day to be like happy and to be in a good mood. Because like, I'd go to the pool and I'd still feel shit, but I'm just like really understimulated. And today I feel really, really good because I tried so hard in swimming. And I actually released dopamine, which is what I need. Oh wow. It's actually wild. That's insane. And I can't tell what I'm feeling ever because I'm autistic as well. It's so good. I love that. I love that. That's all I have to say, and I haven't finished weaving in my ends yet, so I'm just gonna keep going with that. Maybe I'll film some like nice ends weaving things and put it over this video. I don't like weaving in boucle. Boucle. I don't like weaving it today. Okay. I'll weave in my boucle. I'll weave in my boucle. chronically. Well, thanks for having a little chat with me. If that and any of that resonated with you, let me know in the comments. I am trying so hard to be a healthy little neurodivergent human being, and I'm sure you're trying hard too, and that's the best you can do. That's the best I can do. I'm trying really hard. Thanks for being here. I love you guys. Subscribe to my channel. I post weekly videos, and sometimes maybe I'll post more than once in a week if I'm feeling crazy.